working as a manager at Celtic Park. When we met you, we picked you out, you shook us up and turned us around. You've turned us into something new. And Postecoglou, you know that we believe it when you say you're gonna change it. And Postecoglou, we're the mighty Tottenham and nobody's gonna stop them. Oh, we look so fine in blue and lily white. And then he said to me, I'm from a land down under. Postecoglou, baby. Postecoglou, oh. Postecoglou, baby. Postecoglou, oh. Postecoglou, baby. Postecoglou, oh. Postecoglou, baby. Postecoglou, oh, oh.
Big up everyone, good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you're listening. Also big up to Tim Winstone there. That clip is him, had him on the show recently, so that was very kind of him to do that. I do hope you're keeping well. Today we are discussing a tight but good win against Nottingham Forest, also previewing the Everton game. Today I'm joined by, three wonderful guests, two of them with me now, one in Ben joining me later. Firstly, Mark, first time on the show. How you doing?
Yeah, I'm not too bad, mate. It's always brightens up your start of your week when Tottenham win, doesn't it? It seems like a lifetime ago because it was Friday night, but yeah, still happy, still happy.
Absolutely. I mean, I don't know about you, but I don't usually like, playing on a Friday. I've never really been for it, but when you win, I think it's so much better. So who cares? Travis, yeah. Exactly. Yeah, Travis, regular on the show now. Great to have you back once again. How you doing?
Yeah, really well, thank you. Yeah, obviously good as always to be back on the show. These Monday night podcasts are always good fun and always good to meet some new guests. And I'll mirror obviously what Mark just said. Obviously, it's always better when we do win. So yeah.
Absolutely. And as someone who obviously hosts a show and goes on lots of podcasts, it's so much better when you talk about the win, the positivity, the energy, just so much better. Because last season, therapy shows every single week. So great not to be doing that. But before we crack into it, if you are new to the channel, don't forget to smash that subscribe button if you are listening live on YouTube. Leave a like and get involved in the comments with your questions, with your comments, because we will bring them up either now or towards the end of the show for myself or any of the panel. If you're listening on any other podcast platform, Apple Music, Spotify, Amazon Music, don't forget to give us a follow and a 5-star review. That'll be massively appreciated. But before we get into the Tottenham action, I just wanted to say on behalf of myself and the channel, I'm sending my thoughts and prayers with Tom Lockyer after that awful incident at Bournemouth at the weekend. So I just want to send my thoughts to everyone connected with Luton Town, family and friends, because that was a really awful incident. So sending our thoughts, and it was obviously worrying when you have somebody who's come back from that heart injury, already collapsed once this year. So thoughts are with him. Hopefully you can recover and his health comes first at the end of the day. But getting into it for Tottenham now. I'll come to you first, Travis. I want to know, thinking back, I know it's hard because it's a long while ago now, but thinking back before the game to the lineup, because it was an unchanged lineup. However, Dyer comes back from an injury. Your favourite to be placed on the bench to replace the injured Lo Celso. Any surprises in that lineup for you? Did you expect anything different?
Do you know what? I'm really glad, obviously, Ange put Kulusevski in the number 10 role.
Yeah.
I'm thinking he's to play him there permanently, to be fair. Obviously, we're without obviously Bissouma now. I'm sure obviously we'll probably get onto the red cards later into the show. But yeah, Kulu is 100% a number 10 playing that central role. So obviously I know he can play out in the wing, but I can obviously I think he plays a lot more better within that central role. It's obviously my heart did skip a beat obviously when I saw Eric Dyer back on the bench. But obviously he didn't get any minutes, obviously, which was nice to see in the nicest way possible. Apologies to any Eric Dyer fans out there, but I know obviously people do obviously know my personal opinion when it comes to Eric Dyer. But yeah, I was happy with the team. Good to see Sarr starting again. So yeah, it's still obvious to see. Obviously, we miss James Maddison. We miss him massively. But Ange can obviously go with his strongest 11, and he's done that every game so far. So yeah, I've got no bad things to say about the team he chose. So yeah.
Yeah, thank you very much, Travis. And for people who can't see Travis today, the hashtag he's gone with is give me a ginger from Sweden. We've had one about Eric Dyer, Postecoglou winning the league. So it's a different one with Travis every week. But this week we've gone for Ginger from Sweden. He's been doing really well at the moment. We will discuss him as well in today's show. Mark, talk to me about, the lineup. Any surprises in there with you? Is that the team you would have gone with?
Yeah, I think so. Lo Celso was injured, isn't he? So there's no one else. Yeah, I can't. Yeah, pretty much, mate. As Travis said, Kulusevski's our next best option at number 10. Now Maddison's injured, and we had players who can play on the wing. So it was a shame to see Johnson come off. And ironically, obviously, Kulusevski went back out to the right and set up a goal and scored a goal from the position we didn't really want to see him in. But that's just the irony of it. But I don't know, skipping a little bit ahead, whether Johnson will be back, because I don't know whether that was classed as a concussion or not. First, they said it was a concussion sub, and then they said it was a deep cut to the head and not a concussion. So we may have to see Kulusevski out there again, but we'll wait and see on it. But yeah, it was a lineup that I expected and was happy with. I wasn't happy with the subs, but again, I'm sure we'll come on to it.
Yeah, there we go. We will definitely get on to that, that's for sure. Firstly, I want to get into the game. The first thing, the real action point, if you like, of the game was that Johnson had to come off because of the concussion rules going down. That concussion sub, and on comes Oliver Skipp. This was the 42nd minute. So Travis, your reaction, Johnson coming off, and obviously Skipp coming on. Do you think that was the right change to bring Ollie Skipp on? Were you surprised by that?
Yes, because they're two different positions. Obviously, Oliver Skipp's obviously a more, excuse me, a more centre role player, and obviously Brennan Johnson plays out on the wing. So I don't know where Ange sort of like for like there, whether he's trying to bolster the midfield to go more defensively. I don't know, but I don't know who else he could have come with. I can't remember who else he had on the bench now. There wasn't obviously much to choose from. And obviously he had Donnelly and the other guy and Veliz on the bench, but Veliz is obviously more of a striker and he hasn't had any really real first team minutes. So I mean, I've always rated Oliver Skipp. He always gives 110% when he comes on the pitch. I've never really seen him put a foot wrong when I'm really moaning about him on social media. But yeah, I don't know where Ange saw the like for like there, but I can kind of see why he done it. I don't think Brennan Johnson will be out for too long. I think it is just a concussion injury, which obviously they take quite seriously now. But yeah, I think he'll be back for the Everton match. I can't see it being a long time off, to be fair, with something like that. But obviously now as I just said, they take it quite seriously. So obviously I don't know obviously his current how his current health is, but obviously we won't know.
Just to chip in, Travis. So basically it's a deep cut and not a concussion. And also I had a look, and the concussion subs rules, I think you have to have 6 days out of action, and that means he is fit for the Everton game. So providing it picks up no knocks in training or it's not as serious as first thought, he will play the game. So if that answers your question.
Okay, so cool. Thank you. Yeah,
that's all right, no problem. That's a good thing with all our injury problems. You don't need another one out. Mark, coming to you. Obviously, like I said, Ollie Skipp coming on. What was your reaction? Shame for Johnson. Your thoughts at the time, and Ollie Skipp coming on as well.
Yeah, I didn't like the substitution. If I'm being honest, I didn't like the substitution. I don't mind Skipp. Don't get me wrong. I don't mind Skipp at all. But I just felt I wanted to see either Brian Hill come on, who I'm not a mass, he's very hit and miss, but at least it was a sort of more of a like for like for Johnson, because I wanted Kulusevski to stay where he was, or I thought perhaps put Porro there and bring Emerson on.
Yeah, it's not bad.
Yeah, that was the other one. But listen, who am I to argue with our manager? That was just my opinion at the time. I wasn't happy to see Skipp come on because I wanted to see Kulusevski remain in that number 10 role. And I thought there was other options we could have gone with to be more where we didn't have to change it as much as what we did by bringing on essentially a defensive midfielder for an attacker, really. But it worked. We won. I'm not complaining.
Yeah, no, Mark, I'm completely with you and Travis, on this, because I just thought, that means Kulusevski goes out to the wing, but he goes in, which we're going to get onto now for the first goal, puts an excellent cross in. So what do I know? Who am I to question Ange? It won us the game at the end of the day, whether it's he massively impacted it with 0-0 when the change was made and we won the game. But getting into it, first goal was amazing cross from Kulusevski and Richarlison heading it past Turner. For me, this is a case of it's an excellent ball and the credit. And most of the time, the credit goes to the guy who puts the ball in the back of the net, and it's still Richarlison can miss that. But Kulusevski for me deserves all the praise. Would you agree, Mark? And just how good is that cross?
Yeah, it was an excellent cross, wasn't it? It was sort of pinpoint, knew exactly where he needed to put that ball. I wish we would do that a bit more, to be honest with you, especially with that low block. We seem to get to the final third and sort of tap it around and you're sort of shouting, throw it into the box. Because anything can happen in a game of football. Keeper can make a mistake, a defender can kick it, it can clear it to attacker. We need to do a lot more of that, especially with Richarlison, with his heading ability. You couldn't have asked for a better ball, to be honest with you. It was just perfect. Central, straight down there, Richarlison in. It was brilliant, mate. Absolutely brilliant.
Yeah, thank you very much. Travis, that first goal obviously coming just before half-time. Your reaction to the goal, what were you doing at the time? And just how good is that cross from Dejan Kulusevski? Give me a ginger from Sweden.
Well, I was sitting there with my partner's boy at the time trying to explain how good Dejan Kulusevski actually is. I think we've always relied on, obviously, since we've had James Maddison, we've always relied on him, obviously, putting in the good balls. But that cross was just absolutely world class. And I think I saw a quote the other day that Gary Neville was already slapped between 80 to 100 mil on Dejan Kulusevski. I'm not a fan of Gary Neville, but we moved. But yeah, the guy's absolutely superb, and that's obviously why I said keep him in the number 10 role, keep him in the middle of the midfield, because I think he's a lot more effective there. Obviously, while James Maddison is out, but yeah, I rate that guy massively. What are we getting for 25 mil, didn't we?
Yeah, about 30 million euros. So around 25 million pounds, something like
that.
that.
I was going to say it's 30 million euros. And just, Travis, you think, for example, if Anthony and Sancho, the money combined, that's just under 140 million. Just give me an idea of just how good that deal was by Fabio Paratici. It's mind-blowing, isn't it?
Yeah, it really is. One absolute bargain. Obviously, we've got a bargain for James Maddison as well. So yeah, really good bit of transfer there, and long may it continue, hopefully into January.
Yeah, absolutely. And Mark, so half-time, like I said, we went 1-0 up. What was your thoughts on that first half performance? Because for me, it wasn't the best.
No, I thought the first sort of 15 minutes we looked really good again, and we seemed to let them come back into it. Some sloppy passes at the back. Sarr done it a couple of times where he played it across the face of our goal, and it was just not enough weight in his pass and put us under pressure, and it seemed to make them grow in confidence a little bit. And again, I'm not going to get on Sarr's back. He's 21 years of age. They're going to make mistakes. They're still learning how to play this style of football. And it is about being brave, and it is about, doing risky things. So we're going to see mistakes. We are going to see mistakes. So, but I think that can breed confidence in teams, especially on a Friday night when they've got the crowd behind them, their managers on the verge of being sacked. They will bang up for it, and the crowd got them going. I was expecting quite a cagey game, and that they were doing the low block. So it was nothing that I didn't expect, but it wasn't our finest performance. We've had a few like that. It was the same versus Luton Town, wasn't it? It was exactly the same thing. You go to these grounds where the fans are up for it, and it's tough. It's a tough place to go. So I was happy to come away with the 3 points, to be honest.
Absolutely, yeah. And we'll get on to the second half very soon, the results. I think it's a good one. Travis, 1-0, half-time. What were your thoughts on what you'd seen in that first 45?
I think both halves were quite scrappy, but yeah, I mean, I'm always on edge when we're 1-0 up. I'm always on edge. You know, I think any Tottenham supporter will be with me on that, because the way we've been playing over the last couple of games. But I just want to add with Kulusevski, just going back to him, he's very predictable and he always cuts in on the wing. And I think a lot of teams have kind of sussed that out now. Whereas in the middle, obviously, he's only just recently been starting to play in the middle. And he did score with his right foot as well. But yeah, I mean, it was a scrappy game of football. 3 points is 3 points compared to how we played against Newcastle. It was very, very different. But obviously, the City ground is a hard ground to go to. So, but yeah, it's just typical Tottenham, isn't it?
Well, at least we got the result done, though. Moving on to the second half. So Travis, actually coming back to you for the second goal. Started from a bit of press from Son on goalkeeper Matt Turner, who, with all disrespect, certainly isn't one of the best keepers in the league, you know, and gives it straight to Kulusevski, bides his time and absolutely smashes the ball past Matt Turner. So what do you make of our second goal? Is it poor from the Forest goalkeeper?
Did Matt Turner come from Man United? Was it
Arsenal.
Man United?
It was Arsenal.
Oh, there you go. I didn't say no more. Yeah. He's obviously not a highly rated goalkeeper. I don't know who Forest's other goalkeeper is. Is it? What's his name? Isn't it from? What's his name?
They've got Henderson from Man United.
Henderson. I think they have Navas as well.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, Keylor Navas. Yeah, obviously I know
they're both out.
Yeah, he was their number one, wasn't he, for a long time?
I think he may have left, and they've got another guy, but I can't remember his name. But he's meant to be their number one. He come back in for Turner. I only know this because I had Turner in FPL. This is how I know. I'm not an expert. I'm not doing that. It was cheap. He was a cheap option.
Yeah, no, he's the cheap keeper on there.
Yeah. So he was dropped about 3 games ago, and he only come back in recently. So they've got about 3 goalkeepers. Two of them have been injured, so that's why he's playing.
Right. Okay. There you go. Yeah. Provided a little bit of reason, but yeah, good second goal, Travis.
Yeah, but obviously poor goalkeeping, as we say, but yeah, always good to see.
Oh. Keep going.
Yeah, always good to see the ginger from Sweden score. I rate him very, very highly. So yeah,
I know you do. Yeah, exactly. I agree with you. And Mark, for the second goal, would you put that down? Did you put it down a bit of class from Kulusevski, or is it just really, really poor from Matt Turner? Can he do? Obviously because he gives the ball away. Firstly, can he do more with the save as well? Get a bigger punch on it, maybe.
Potentially, I think it was so powerful, the shot, that he just couldn't do much with it. I think that's his only Kulusevski's second goal with his right foot for us. All the rest have been left foot and one header. So he can use his right foot. He's got a few assists with his right foot. I only know that because I've got a mate who gets on Kulusevski's case all the time, saying, "Oh, he's too one-footed" and all of that stuff. So I pull up stats all the time to sort of say, "Well, that's not necessarily true." But it is only, I think, again, off the top of my head, I think it's his 12th or 13th goal. 2 with his right foot, 1 with his head, and the rest all with his left foot. But come on, guys, he's left-footed. So you know,
what'd you expect? So for me, I think he was.
You wouldn't mind about, you wouldn't mind about a right footer saying he's all right-footed and doesn't have a left, would you? So I don't really get what the issue is, but he does cut back in a lot. But he's an inverted, he's playing on the wrong side. He's a left footer playing on the right, so he's going to do that. But he's classy when he does it,
I think he's criminally underrated, not just by Tottenham fans, but I think generally in the Premier League football at the moment, among pundits and fans, etc. But for me, I much prefer him that number 10 role when Maddison isn't here. I think it gives him more creativity, more freedom. And when you're stuck out in the wing, like Travis says, I think defenders kind of suss you out, if you like, and know what you're doing. That we know that his left foot so strong, cuts inside. Whereas number 10 role, he can do something different. He's that, sometimes he slows it down out wing. Whereas number 10, he's that creator because he's really good creatively. But he goes and does that amazing cross on the wing against Forest. So I think he proves he can play both positions as far as I'm concerned.
Pep Guardiola rates him highly. He's already said he rates him highly. What a player. What a player. Love it. Baller. Get up.
Yeah, there you go. That's coming from Pep Guardiola. I mean, he has a great record against Manchester City. That could be one of the reasons why. Now I want to move on to an interesting bit. It's called a little bit of debate, a little bit of agreement, disagreement, if you like, on Twitter and among socials between Spurs fans, and that is discipline problem. So, but basically, Basuma sent off 70 minutes after VAR advised the referee, on-field referee Jared Gillett, to take a look at the monitor, and it was overturned from a yellow card, which was initially given to a red card. Travis, correct decision, firstly?
I'm so glad you've asked this question. I am so glad you've asked this question, Harry. Absolutely a red. Absolutely. Studs are showing, it's a red card all day long. But I say this every podcast when the same sort of question gets asked, VAR is not consistent. It's really not. But yeah, I mean, there's obviously a discipline problem at the club because Romero has obviously got a screw loose, and obviously Bissouma's obviously got one as well because he's only just come back from obviously a red card already. But yeah, the VAR monitor always makes it look so much worse than what it actually is. But his foot was high, studs were showing. It's a red card all day long. Yeah.
And do you think Basouma's a liability?
Yes, I do. Yeah, I do. Yeah.
Okay.
I think there needs to be a discipline thing within Ange, because I don't really think we had any problems like that. I'm not saying Ange is a bad manager because he's really not a bad manager. He's probably the best manager we've had for a long time. But I don't remember there being any situations in regards to red cards when we've had previous management. So I picked that up the other day. So, but yeah, there needs to be a few players obviously being spoke to, i.e. Suma and Romero.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, thank you very much, Travis. I think, aggression and passion isn't bad. In fact, it's a good thing. But there's a borderline to that when it does cost the team and when it happens frequently. So, Mark, where do you kind of stand, firstly, with Basuma on red card? And is he a liability? And also, is there a discipline issue at Tottenham right now?
Yeah, it was a red card all day long, sadly. But I agree with what Travis said about when they slow it down and everything else and go back and look at it on camera. I've seen it was a bad challenge. It was a red card. No arguments to it whatsoever. However, I've seen plenty of challenges just as bad that don't even get given as yellow cards, which is completely wrong. And it's not, there's not an Arsenal, I've seen it in the Arsenal games against Luton where they did it. I see West Ham yesterday where Kafau elbowed someone in the face and they checked it and didn't do anything about it. And this isn't about rivalry. It's about VAR and it being crap because it stung every fan. It needs getting rid of. I'm sorry. It's just, I know we didn't come on to that, Harry, but if you can't get it right and, referees make wrong decisions. We accept that. We just got to accept it. But when you've got a camera, people in a room telling the referee to go, and they're the ones dictating, and we talk about the standard of refereeing going down, and it's all to do with this, because they don't have to referee anymore, because they know if they make a mistake, their mates in there telling them, you need to go and have a look at it. So obviously the standard's going to go down because there's a backup plan. They're not making decisions on their own anymore. It's a whole other debate. I could go on for it for hours. Is Basuma a liability? I wouldn't say he's a liability. Listen, this is his third suspension this season, which I can see why you would argue he's a liability. It's his second sending off, and he got 5 yellow card suspension as well for one game. I think he only got 1 red card whilst at Brighton, so I don't think he's a particularly dirty player. If it keeps happening, then yeah, I would say Romero, who I absolutely love, is more of a liability than Basuma, and I wouldn't be getting rid of Romero either. But he should have been sent off the week before. Again, talk about inconsistencies. VAR looked at that, and that was a red card for me. The Newcastle game on Wilson. Yeah, that's inconsistency there in our own team. So it's not about bias. It's about it being completely wrong. One week it is, and then the other week it isn't. So just get rid of the bloody thing.
Fair enough, spot on. I was actually going to ask you that question, whether you'd scrap it or not. So thank you. So Travis, coming to you, here you go. Would you scrap VAR or make major changes? If you go for the major changes, what changes do you want to see?
I've got to be really careful how I answer this question.
Yeah.
I absolutely detest VAR, and Mark could not have put it any more perfectly if he tried. Absolutely spot on, Mark. Yeah, because it's not consistent, and that is the worst thing. I think they make up decisions as they go along. The thing that gets me with VAR is these guys that watch that do obviously the camera footage. They're based at Topley Park?
Stockley Park, yeah.
Stockley Park. They're based at Stockley Park. They're nowhere near the games. The referee is the one on the pitch. The referee should be making every single decision that is made on that pitch. Because VAR are watching video footage that can be paused, it can be fast forwarded, it can be reversed, it can be slowed down. He's watching real-time evidence of whatever goes on that pitch. So yeah, the whole thing needs to be gone completely.
The only way, just because you asked the question, Harry, the only way I think that you could improve upon it is do what they do in other sports and give the manager or the captain 2 calls. They can make 2 calls a game. It'll maybe bring a bit of excitement about it, but some games we've seen go on for 12, 15 minutes longer, and I think that's causing some of the injuries as well. But if it's a decision that you can't say yes or no in 2 runs of it, then go with what the on-field decision was. When they're slowing it down and, like Travis said, pulling it back and going slow-mo, that's the whole point of it was for errors, for blatant errors. And if you're having to go to that kind of detail, it can't be a clear and obvious mistake, can it? So maybe bring in calls. The manager gets 2 calls a game, something like that. But given the choice, I'd get rid of the whole thing. But if they want to keep it, do something like that, because you can't have it for every single decision.
Can I just add something? Sorry. Barney, the absolute legend himself, has just put, it's too inconsistent. The technology is fine. It's the way it's implemented. Absolutely spot on. It is because I ain't got a clue. Yeah, it is. Players could. Yeah, absolutely. And this is another thing. This is where extra time is being brought into the game. Unneeded extra time when the ref could quite easily make his decision there and then, without all this TV footage. It's bonkers. It really is.
Okay, and Mark, what do you make of the idea of sin bins and VAR being able to look at free kicks, yellow cards, that kind of thing? Almost like VAR taking over the game. I mean, I'm not for that personally. I disagree with it. Like you said, it's brought in for clear and obvious errors. But where do you stand with it?
Sin bins. I think I don't know too much about how we would do that, so I'd have to listen to what the idea was before I give a conclusive answer on it. But I'm not totally opposed to it. But for yellow, I was actually going to mention, I was going to contradict what I said before. We just got referees going to make mistakes, and we've just got to let them make their mistakes. In the game the other day, there was 2 or 3 players, and I think even one of our players would do it, waving the imaginary yellow card. Not a booking, but in other games, the referee's given a booking for doing that, and I think it's meant to be funny,
Mark. But Dallo against Liverpool, 2 yellow cards resulting in a red card for dissent in not 3 seconds. Come on, and Salah's going like that, waving the imaginary card, and they gets nothing. Surely that's not right.
This is what I mean. It's just but I do think the referees are relying on that VAR, which is why they're just not making so many easy decisions. So I wouldn't bring it in for yellow cards, because I think there's too much of it. I think there's too much VAR anyway, as it is. I love goal line technology. As Barney said, it's the way it's implemented. Goal line technology, it's instant. There's no arguing. Bang, it's a goal. It's not a goal. If it could be like that, then fantastic. Bring it in. But what I also don't like, this is why I said, Harry, I can go on for hours about this. Football before VAR would be the same on Hackney Marshes as it would be in the Premier League. Now there's a divide. Even in the Championship, they don't have VAR. So it's a different game. We're watching a different game to what you watch in all the divisions below the Premier League because they don't have it. So I don't like it. I don't like VAR, and I'd just get rid of the whole bloody thing.
Can I just say, we say about red cards and yellow cards. What about when players are barking in refs' ears, do this decision, do that decision? You know, where's the yellow cards and red cards then? You know, it's all things that I think need to be brought into consideration, to be fair.
Absolutely. I think it's two sides to it, Travis. Like when Salah's asking for me anyway to wave the imaginary card, that's, it's encouraging the referee to make a decision. I don't agree with that. And it's trying to get someone booked, sent off, etc. So for me, that kind of thing needs to be cracked down on because at the moment they're getting away with it. Not being funny at Dallo. Okay, his reaction isn't great. I can't tell you because I'm not a lit reader exactly what he said, right? But for me, yellow card at most for his reaction. But it's not offending the referee. It's not upsetting anyone. He's annoyed with the decision. I actually think, he was right. But the annoying thing was, right, is he should have been a Man United throw. I get it's the wrong decision and he's not accepted it, but it makes it even worse that he was right. So things like that is absolutely bonkers and that needs to be cracked down on. But Travis, sin bins, yes or no, and why?
I've heard the saying sin bin. Can you elaborate what it is, please?
I actually don't know that much about it. So all I've really heard is that it'd be almost like an orange card. So you like almost like sit out for 10 minutes, that kind of thing. All to do with, and also they'd make sure VAR can look at things like, so at the moment, Travis, VAR can't decide, like for a tackle, they can't say, oh, here's a yellow card. It's just whether it's violent conduct or not, red card, no red card. So they'd change that, be able to apply a yellow card for free kicks as well. Look back at it, was that a free kick? For me, it's taking more control out of the game, will add more extra time, which will lead to more injuries. And I think the referee, the on-field referee, needs to be given more power. So for me, I'm with Mark. You scrap it, you make changes. I think fans should know more what's going on inside the stadium. I think that's a huge thing. I think referees should be mic'd up every game, the footage and audio released after every game. There's a lot that can be done to improve it. But I watched a Championship game, to give you an example, the East Anglian derby last Saturday, and that was really well officiated without VAR. Tackles allowed to go. When anyone messed with the referee, they were eventually booked. It was the right kind of game. It was structured well by the referee, and I think without VAR, it's a lot better. But yeah, that's basically sin bins, Travis. So out of that, where do you stand on it?
Absolute rubbish. We're not we kid in the classroom. Go and stand outside the classroom for 10 minutes, and come back in and carry on. Do you know what I mean? That's my black and white view on it. To be fair, I think it's an awful idea. Absolutely not. Yet red cards and yellow cards have been in the game since day dot. So just keep it like that. A yellow card's a yellow cards, a red card's a red card. That's the way I see it. Yeah, no. Whoever's thought of these sin bin ideas is just absolute rubbish. So yeah, that's my opinion. So
thank you very much, Travis. But welcoming our third guest, Ben. How you doing?
Thank you, Harry. Sorry I'm late. Had a couple issues, but we got there in the end. But glad to be here, and well, thank you for having me on.
No problem. It's always great to have you on. It's great to have you here to kind of bring you in on this. We talk about VAR and sin bins. Where do you stand on VAR at the moment? Is it for you a case of it needs to be scrapped, or is just changes needed? If so, what would you change right now?
I think the problem is a lot of issues we have are in terms of the lack of consistency with VAR. And I think the problem is that's not really going to change with the referees, because at the end of the day, it's the people making the decisions, not the technology involved. I think it's going to be a sort of situation where it's just going to be a bit hit and miss for the next couple of years, and the referees might eventually get better at communicating, and the laws of the game need to be more concise, particularly the handball, what's natural, what's unnatural, what is deemed natural that then 1 week is given and 1 week isn't given. So I think it's kind of an issue that is going to go on for a long time and is only really going to be resolved through more and more errors until it gets to the point where they've made so many errors that they've got so many examples of what's a handball and what isn't, for example, that they're just eventually going to get it right. A bit like rugby, where how it wasn't great at the start and has progressively got better and better and better as time's gone on. And so, yeah, I think that's the unfortunate state of where we're at with VAR. That's not going to improve anytime soon, but I think in the long term it will. And it's there to stay. Do I think it should be re-refereeing every decision of the game? It's a difficult one. If you look at the East Basuma one for Spurs the other day, and the emotion of it, I'll probably say, no, it's not a red card. And I still think maybe you could give that argument. But the problem is they look at all these decisions in slow motion, which totally changes the context of what happened. Because if you look at a challenge in real time and someone comes across somebody, and they might just nick them, but if you look in slow motion, it looks like they've properly gone into them at force, and it's given the referees a totally false representation of what happened. So I think that's something they need to change, is not looking at as many slow motion.
Absolutely, because it always looks worse.
And also the time taken, I think, like Neil Warnock said, like Neil Warnock said, I think there should be a time limit, because if you're looking at something for 2 or 3 minutes, it clearly isn't a clear and obvious error by the officials, which is what they claim they go by. And then 1 week they're going by something that's obvious, 1 week they're not. So it's not a very good situation, put it that way.
No, thank you very much, Ben. Completely agree with you. As Travis says, that's consistency. For me, I don't mind that being given as a red card for Basuma, but when we're seeing Kufal doing, like as Mark points out, doing things that he's doing, we've seen it with Arsenal and Luton, we've seen the Arsenal Newcastle from both teams, Joe Linton, Guimaraes, Havertz, we've seen it everywhere, where for me it's very, very similar. It's just about that consistency. But VAR at the moment is based off opinions, not facts, and that is where the problem is for me. But Mark, what do you make of the refereeing performance? Any decisions that you think should have been different? Like, would you have booked Ryan Yates? Did you think Udogie should have received the yellow card? What do you make of his performance? Can't get it.
I thought his performance was terrible, to be honest with you. Yates should have been sent off. As I say, he was one of the ones that was waving around the imaginary yellow card and nothing happened. I think he'd done that twice. There was challenges that he made that weren't a booking. Udogie, no, I don't even think it was a free kick, if I'm being honest, let alone a yellow card. I could see it being debated. Some people think it's a free kick, some people won't. It was never a yellow card. No, I thought he was terrible, the referee. But as I say, the standard of refereeing is going down, and I think it's because they're becoming very lazy, because they know they can make mistakes, and there's someone at Stockley Park that will say, you've missed something there. So, and as you said, they can't do it for every yellow card decision. So, I mean, it's a mess. Yeah, hopefully it will improve. I get the sentiments around rugby and other sports that have used it. But I don't know. It's not improved our game at all. And it takes away some of the joy. I've been at games where I've not even jumped up to celebrate because I thought that something was offside, and then it's been given, and I thought, I just don't want to look stupid. That happens too much in my life. I don't want to be doing it at the football as well. So,
yeah, no, exactly. It sucks the life out of the game, doesn't it? For me, and that's why I'm not for the sin bins. It takes away the fun. You're not celebrating because you could score a goal, right? And they could go back and say, it should have been a free kick 40 seconds earlier. There'll be no limit on it, and that's the problem. VAR, clear and obvious errors. As Ben says, for me, it takes any more than 2-3 looks of a human eye, then for me it's not clear and obvious. Clear and obvious is you see it once, or you need to watch it again, and boom, done. It's not clear and obvious when you spend 2, 3, 4, maybe even more minutes looking at it. For me, Basuma, although I think it's a red card, if it takes that long to look at, just don't give it. It shouldn't take that long. It's, is it a red card or not? You don't need to analyse it. And like the handball rule, couldn't tell you what it is. But before we move on from that, Travis, I'm going to come to you because I want to know your thoughts on referee Jalad Gillett's performance on Friday night. Any decisions you disagree with? Because obviously Udogie was booked. Was that correct for you? Did Ryan Yates deserve a yellow card? So your thoughts on his performance?
Yeah, I agree with what Mark said. Ryan Yates obviously should have been sent off. I can't really remember many of the decisions that he made, to be fair.
It's been quite a while, isn't it? That's the problem with playing first game Friday night. It's been a while.
The only thing I can say is he got absolutely spot on with Basuma being sent off. It was a red all day long, but you can't say, well, what about if this referee said that, or what about if this referee said this? Do you know what I mean? Because it all boils down to referees not being consistent again, But yeah, that's the only decision I can really remember happening. There's obviously Basuma being sent off, which yes was a red. But I think I'll take me out off to the refs of the Premier League now, because they've got a really hard job.
They have, but they make it harder for themselves.
They do, and they get this VAR technology thrown at them. They've got to follow that protocol, this protocol, but it's been rubbish ever since it come into the game. I just think even though VAR has been brought in, I think there's still a lot of player power. I mean, you've only got to look at the Turkish league where that official got punched like last week or the week before.
Oh, yeah, exactly.
It's awful. No one should ever go to work to get something like that ever, no matter what job you do. So yeah, I think, and again, it all boils down to discipline. I think the game has gone a little bit, but yeah, as much as I'm against VAR and some of the decisions that referees make, I do really feel for them and the linesmen as well. Every fourth official on that pitch, I actually feel sorry for.
Yeah, but I find it funny, right? Because the Premier League and you get them banging on about player welfare, but for example, they won't let the linesman put the flag up early, which could potentially cause injuries, and they don't get control of the game, and they make VAR checks look ages. They have to add on time, the end of the half, the end of the game, and that again is resulting for me in a massive increase this year in injuries. So for me, it's hypocrisy at the top. You see people like Howard Webb come in, you think, oh, this is going to change for the good, and it for me really hasn't. But we can spend a whole podcast talking about VAR, but we're here to talk Tottenham. So I want to move on to player of the match. Ben, who's your player of the match and why?
I think it's got to be Kulusevski, hasn't it? I think he was absolutely brilliant. Not even his goal. I thought he was pretty good throughout the game. I thought he was playing very well when he was in midfield before, obviously, the Brennan Johnson injury happened. And I really believe if he'd been playing in that position for longer, he potentially even would have had a better game. But does the Richarlison goal happen? Probably not, because obviously Kulu was in that position where he's whipped it in with his left foot for Richarlison's goal. We might have scored in other ways, don't get me wrong, but obviously it could have gone very differently. You never know what's going to happen, who's going to score. I think we still would have won the game, but Kulu was absolutely brilliant. That cross, it's a kind of trademark cross of his now, even when it's not had assists. The amount of times he's done that cross and the players missed a header, or last season, not even last season, the season before, when we played Arsenal and Harry Kane got that penalty, got that goal. That was from a Kulusevski cross out wide, and we got the penalty from Cedric pushing Son. So that cross, he's really got in his locker, and is a bit of a trademark cross from him. And again, it was absolutely brilliant to see Richarlison score and to get his confidence up and running. I know Harry, you and me have fairly varying opinions on Richarlison through the years, but it's great. It's great to see him scoring finally, I will say, and to see that he's come back from that surgery. And clearly, there is something that has changed because his first touch is better. It was almost like a trampoline at times at the start of this season and the back end of last season. His touch is better. He can run with the ball better. He can pass it better. So clearly, it was affecting him badly. Do I think he's still a 20-goal a season striker? No. But am I glad he's finding some form? Yes. And then Kulusevski's goal, well, it was poor from Matt Turner, but Kulu still had to do it, and he's hit it hard enough that he can parry it into his own net. So I think he was 100% my man of the match.
Thank you, Kulusevski, for Ben. Mark, man of the match and why? Player of the match, sorry.
I don't disagree that it should be Kulusevski, but Ben Davies for me was excellent, and not just that game. He's been excellent since he's come in. And look, would I upgrade Ben Davies? Yes, obviously. I don't want him being our third choice centre back, but I don't mind him being. I don't put him in the same bracket as your Dyers and players like that. He can play a couple of positions. He's a good squad player, though I'm happy that, this is the thing. Like,
we need squad players as well, Mark. We all want Europe next season. We need players like Richarlison, Davies, whether they're in or out of the team or not, who can contribute. We see with Newcastle, Man United now, they can't keep up with injury problems. We need that squad depth, right?
Absolutely. So I wouldn't get rid of him. At the same time, I don't want to see him playing week in, week out. But you've got to give him credit for the performance he's been. Like, I was thinking, I didn't say it during the game, stuff. I don't want to jinx anything here. But when I was talking about Sarr passing it across the face of the goal, Romero does that quite a bit. Davies very rarely does that kind of thing. He's quite consistent. He doesn't make an awful. He hasn't been. I'll rephrase that. He has in the past made a fair few, but recently he hasn't been making them errors that he has done in the past. So you can guarantee he will against Everton. Now I've just said that, which is why I've not put it out into the ether before. But he's been consistent. He's been consistently doing a good job, and I think he needs a lot of credit. Remember, he made that tackle in the that sliding challenge in the Newcastle game when they were about to score, and he cleared it away. And I thought it was
amazing.
Excellent. Yeah, I thought it was excellent against Forest as well. So I think Kulusevski probably should get it, but I'm going to give it to Ben Davies for me.
Okay, thank you very much. And Travis, I've got a feeling you're going to give it to Ben Davies, or am I wrong?
Absolutely 100% correct.
Why?
I know you've only asked for one player, but there was 3 outstanding players in that game.
Go for it.
One, I'm going to be biased and obviously say Dejan Kulusevski because the geezer's just an absolute baller anyway. But my one for me was Pedro Porro. He's really picking up his game, and his set pieces, his corners, his crossing is just improving so much. But for me, Ben Davies, and like Mark said, I wouldn't want to let him go. I really wouldn't, because he's been a loyal servant to Spurs since I can last him. I can't remember when we bought Ben Davies from Swansea. But I would have him as a number 2 defender, and quite rightly, like Mark said, he's nothing like Eric Dyer. I know they're 2 different positions, but Ben Davies does not fall into that category. I was nearly sick hearing that. But Ben Davies was absolutely superb against Forest, and I think he actually stopped him from scoring as well by clearing with the studs on his boot. So yeah, 100% Ben Davies.
Thank you very much. And now moving on to our next game on Saturday, so the day before Christmas Eve, 23rd December, at home to inform Everton. 4 wins on the bounce. When do we ever hear this about Everton? And they'd have 26 points. Wasn't for their points deduction, which puts them inside the top 7. That is crazy stuff. They're doing really well at the moment. So firstly, Travis, how are you feeling ahead of the game, and what would your lineup look like? Would you put Eric Dyer, your favourite, in there?
I've got a few things to say about Everton. Can I just say, everyone listening, how important and how good it is to see Dele Alli back at Everton. Massive respect to Sean Dyche for letting him get back in the squad. Obviously, after going through his mental health and everything that he spoke about in that session with Gary Neville, I think it was. Massive respect for that. Obviously, how I feel about that subject anyway. So yeah, and I hope Dele starts. I don't know how many training sessions he's had, but as a Tottenham fan, obviously him being ex-Spurs, and obviously just seeing him back in general will be brilliant. The only thing I would change is obviously we're
without. I've done the same as you there. We're without Doggy and Basuma. So who would you play at left back?
Left back, I'd probably go with left back.
You could play Davies there. You could play Emerson there, maybe.
I'd play Davies. I'd go Davies, Romero, and Porro.
What about the other centre back next to Romero?
I'd give it. Who's the young guy?
Dorrington.
I'd give him a run, or Phillips. Get Phillips out there, because I've not seen Phillips' name mentioned once on the team sheet.
I don't know whether he's fit or not.
He's been injured. Yeah, he's been injured.
That's
was
why
he?
I think he
Okay.
he has.
But yeah, obviously I know Everton are on a siege at the moment. Let's face it, they are sieging left, right, and centre. So obviously they're going to be up for the game as much as obviously what but yeah, I'd give Dorrington a run, and Dyer can stay at home making a roast dinner or making pigs in blankets or something. I don't know.
Ouch. Wow. Travis has it in for Eric Dyer, and I can't see that changing anytime soon. Ben, your thoughts ahead of the game, because obviously Everton are flying, aren't they? So talk to me a bit about Everton and what your team would look like.
I think Everton are going to win the midfield battle. I think that's been their strong point this season, and Amadou Onana has really come into his own, along with Doucouré. I think they might have the better of us in midfield. However, we have got substantially better quality in attack, which I think is going to eventually come through in the game. And we've got to hope the defence does well. I think it's a difficult one because if Højbjerg plays really well in this game, and I hope he does, with his ability to switch it wide, I think that could really help us getting out of Everton's midfield, which will be an issue if he can't. So if Højbjerg has a bad day passing-wise, I think we could be in for a difficult and a bit of a sticky situation of a game that we may have to come through with moments in attack and being very clinical. But if Højbjerg has a good game, then I think we could win this. I'm not going to say fairly well because Everton's defence has still been good as well this season, but I think we should be confident for a win if our midfielders.
By the way, nobody give their score predictions yet. We're going to get to that next.
Right.
Go on, man.
Okay, well, I'm confident that if our midfield do well against theirs, which I think is going to be the main talking point of the game, then I think we should be able to come out of a win. But it'll be, I think, more difficult than people expect.
And your lineup, Ben?
So Doggy's out.
Basuma out. You mentioned Højbjerg there.
Yeah, that throws a bit of a spanner in the works because I wouldn't want to. That means Eric Dyer is going to play at centre back, isn't he?
I'd play Emerson left back, personally.
I don't know. I think him inverting really didn't work in the Wolves game. I think I'd go Porro, Romero, Dyer, Davies, then what would be Højbjerg. I don't want to see Dyer, but there's nobody else. The Højbjerg, then it'll be Sarr, Kulu. Kulu, yeah, because Johnson, the concussion is 7 days, which will have been long enough. So Kulu in midfield, and
Johnson's available.
Johnson, Son, and Richarlison.
And I'm just trying to think, Ben, that's a good team, that for me. You put Davies at left back, which I think it's a shame because he's done so well with lefts in the back, and it's not his fault.
Yeah.
Because, I'm not maybe someone like Travis and don't openly really have it in for Dyer, but I don't think, this system doesn't suit him. I don't think, he's got a place in this team under Ange. I think he's made his feelings really clear. And not the first manager to do so either. So I'm thinking, we have a back, the centre backs of Emerson and Romero, and which one of them will play that left-sided centre-back role? Romero, the quality he's got, can he play left-sided? Can Emerson do it? Because for me, I liked Emerson. Yeah, I like Emerson centre-back. I think he would do that. So that's another thing, because Emerson left-back, that's a last thing.
I think we'll do that, actually.
Dyer. All it is with Dyer, maybe he can cope physically with the likes of Calvert-Lewin, but like with the high line, it doesn't work with Dyer because his natural instinct, like we saw against Wolves for one, maybe two of the goals, put the ball out of play or not to follow the man, and when you do that, we're in trouble. So that we'll leave that problem with Ange. I think it's fair to say.
I reckon that will be it, Harry. I reckon that will be it. Emerson play at centre back. Now I thought of it. That is what I would do. I've forgotten he'd done that. I think they'll probably do that, and that's what I would do as well.
I'm sure Romero is capable of playing left side, but if not, maybe Emerson could. I don't think it's a huge issue. It's not that much difference to someone who.
Pace wise, it should be Emerson. I don't think Romero's down the flank. I think on there it'd have to be Emerson. I think.
Calvert-Lewin's doing well at the moment. Let's make that clear. So whoever it is, they're going to have a fairly decently hard task on their hands. So it's I'd love to play the likes of Dorrington, but the physical presence of Calvert-Lewin could be quite daunting on a debut. But Mark, bring you in on this. How are you feeling right now? Obviously really inform Everton side. Credit to Sean Dyche and the fans, the players. The togetherness is really real. And what would your team look like? Talk me through it.
I was actually going to say Emerson at left back and Davis and Romero, but I agree with what you're saying there. Actually, I think that's Emerson and Romero with Davis as the left back. And then beyond that, I would Basuma out. It's a toss up for me. Skip or Højbjerg. Don't care which one of the two. Whoever he fancies on the day. I don't see a massive difference between the two. I don't hate. I know they both get a lot. I don't hate either of them. I don't necessarily think they're great for this system.
Yeah, agree.
But so whoever he fancies there, I don't know. I'd probably go Højbjerg because he's more of a goal threat at times, isn't he? He's got a few goals here and there. And then I'd leave it the same. Kulusevski in the centre, Johnson, Richarlison, and Son.
Okay, thank you very much. Now on to score predictions for the Everton game. So Travis, come to you first. Give me your score prediction and who's going to be on the score sheet.
I'm going 2-2.
Oh, okay. So who do you reckon scoring for both teams?
I think for Everton, I'm going to go Calvert-Lewin. And is Doucouré still there? Is Doucouré still there? Yeah. I'm going to go Doucouré and Calvert-Lewin. And for Spurs, I'm going to go for Sonny and Richarlison.
Okay.
I think
fair enough. Mark, Mark, your score prediction?
I'm saying 3-0 Spurs.
Richarlison
2 and Son 1.
Okay, love it. Love the confidence. Ben, you as confident?
2-0. I'm going to go 2-0, I think. I'm going to go Son to get one. And I'll go on Richarlison to get another one.
Go on, yeah. I go 2-1. Yeah, I'm going to go 2-1 Spurs. I think Calvert-Lewin. I think Everton will take the lead through Calvert-Lewin, actually, and I think we'll fight back with, I think, a brace from Son. I think and 2 assists from Richarlison, 2 goals from Son. I think we'll get the job done, but I don't think it'll be quite as easy as some people think. However, if we can win 3-0, Mark, I absolutely...
Listen, usually when I make these type of predictions, because I expect Everton have been very good defensively. They've got 4 clean sheets in a row, haven't they? Yeah. But we usually have a good record against Everton. So I think it's going to be one of them days where we just turn it on. And listen, Everton have done fantastic. I think they've got that siege mentality. They've had some great results. They've been playing well. I just fancy that it's going to be our day. We'll see.
Well, I kind of definitely hope that you're right. But before we go on to the questions that were put forward for people on podcasts earlier on Twitter, I do want to just go around and I just want a number because it's how many points you think we'll get from our next 4 Premier League fixtures. I don't want why, I just want the number of points you think we'll get. So our next 4 Premier League fixtures as follows. Let's get rid of that one. Actually, no, we're going to go with 3 because there's 3 left of the year. That makes sense. Ignore me. We're going to go with 3. Next 3 are Everton at home, obviously, Brighton away, and Bournemouth at home. So, Mark, how many points are you getting out of those next 3?
I'm being honest. I'm honestly not being biased. I think we'll win all 3 of them games. I honestly believe that.
Do you? 9 points.
Yeah, really
wow.
do.
Ben, you nodding?
Yep, 9.
9. Wow. Travis?
Do you know what? Bournemouth are playing really well at the moment. They are playing
Everton.
Well.
And Brighton need a result there. I mean, they sit 9th, so they need a result.
I'm going to go 6 points.
Where do you think we'll drop points, Travis?
Sorry, 7 points. We'll beat Bournemouth and Brighton, and we'll pick up a point against Everton.
Yeah.
Okay, fair enough. For me, I think we beat Everton. They'd be tight 3 points. I'm going to skip Brighton out for now. I think Bournemouth will be tough. But I think we'll win that 6. Brighton, and it'll be tough. They have injury problems and not in the best of form, Europe, etc. I think realistically a point. So 7 for me, 9 would be amazing. But right now I take 7 points. I think that sees us comfortably inside the top 5, maybe even the top 4, depending on other results. Actually, before we get to it, the questions, there is one more thing, and that is Spurs women's win. Saturday lunchtime against Arsenal. They history basically. So, Ben, did you see it? Because obviously Levy, Postecoglou were in attendance, 20,000 at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. So, what do you make of the game if you saw it?
No, I didn't see all of it, but I did see some of it, and I thought it was very impressive, particularly the goal as well. The brilliant build-up.
Classic Andrew, though, right? It's great to see the football being played throughout the club.
No, that was brilliant, and great to see the crowd there as well. And it was brilliant to them finally get a win over Arsenal. I know they've played them many times and come through with a defeat, so it was good to see their luck finally change. And with Arsenal, how good the women's team is. quite an achievement, really, because Arsenal have always been up there right at the top of the league for years and years. So it really was, even take out the occasion of it being the first time, in general, as a result, it was a fantastic result and one they should all be very proud of.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a big result. And, there's no secret, the Arsenal women, they're a long way ahead of us in terms of becoming professional first and money, etc. So that is an incredible result, an amazing turnout as well. And I think that's a real statement as well. That's the thing. It's a real statement from Spurs in the WSL. Anything is achievable. And they look really, really good. I think Martha Thomas is an excellent addition in the in the summer transfer market. I think excellent. Provides a lot of goals, involved in a lot, and obviously Thompson's sixth in WSL on 15 points, and that kind of is a statement in terms of we believe that maybe top 4, top 5 is potentially possible, if not more, because Arsenal sit third, but we closed the gap to about 7 points. So it is a kind of statement because Arsenal's still seen as title contenders in the WSL. Mark, did you see the game? If not, what do you make of it, or if you did as well?
No, I'm with Joey Barton on this one. I'm joking. joking. No, I didn't see it. Sorry.
Love it.
No, I didn't see it. I'll be honest, I didn't even know it was on until I saw the result afterwards. But yeah, as you said, excellent. They're a million miles off of Arsenal. Like when I was growing up, Arsenal, you've got to give them credit. The women's team and the women's game, Arsenal were at the forefront in this country of bringing that to women and to little girls. So you've got to give them credit. So we're way off of them at the minute. We've only been a professional outfit, I think, for maybe 5 or 6, 7 years. Not a lot.
I don't think it's that. I think
maybe not even
4,
that.
3.
Whereas that's what I'm saying. When I was in school, when Arsenal were winning Women's FA Cup,
yeah, there you go. Yeah,
I played with a girl in at school who was an excellent player that just couldn't. There was no teams around, so to see how the game has grown is brilliant, really. And the England's women football team are doing brilliantly. So it's really good to see the growth of it, and great for our girls and ladies to get the win against Arsenal, 100%.
Exactly, and it's just great, turnout for women's football in general. Obviously, you're going to get people on you like Joey Barton, whether it's attention seeking. But
I just want to see your face, Harry.
I know, yeah. I did. You caught me off guard. Then I should have. Yeah, I was like, oh, hello. On our hands here. But moving on to the question.
Viral moment.
The questions that people put forward for the podcast on Twitter this morning. Big up, thank you for your patience, Marlon. I'm assuming from Southview, Coy's one of them, Barney as well with a question. First question is actually from Newcastle fan, fellow content creator Baz. And for guests and the chat who don't know how it works, they go by round one by one, each guest and ask an individual question. I'm going to start with you, Mark. First time obviously on the show. Baz says, do you think your poor discipline will cost you top 4 if it continues? Because obviously we briefly discussed the discipline.
If it continues, yes, it will do, because we will find it difficult to field a decent first 11. So yeah, if it continues, I think the 5 yellow cards, does that get scrapped after the Brighton game? I heard.
Yes, I think it's the. Yes, I think it might be on the day.
It might be the Brighton or the Bournemouth game. So we're coming towards the end. I think Romero might be on one more. If he gets one more,
from my understanding, Romero is, if he gets through the Everton game, he's all right.
Okay.
But I wouldn't put it past Romero.
No, exactly. Yeah, if he gets through that, we'll be lucky. So yes,
I think it might be one more.
Right. I thought it was after the Brighton game. But
yeah, I think it is.
It's definitely before we get to Bournemouth.
Right. Yeah, I think it's the Brighton game. But yeah, it could cost us. It could cost us the top 4 place if it continues. Yeah.
Okay, fair enough. Ben, next question for you from Barney. Big up, Barney. I know you're listening in the chat. Keep going and interacting in the comments. So listen up. Here's your answer from Ben. Barney, it's a slightly different question. This so far this season, what's been your favourite Spurs goal? Good question, Barney.
Ooh, I think Son's equaliser in the North London derby has got to be one of them.
Oh,
just because of how it came about. Not in terms of the fin. It was a good finish. I think my favourite goal. It's a difficult one because there's been quite a lot of good goals, and I'm just trying to play back through all the games this season in my head now. But I think it would probably have to be Pape Sarr's against Manchester United in the first home game, because that was the first time we saw Postecoglou's football in the stadium, and the atmosphere that day was absolutely unbelievable. And we'd ridden our luck at times in that first half with some of the chances Man United had, and that was really kind of the kickstarter of our season. Actually, now I've thought of it, since that Champions League final, we've had rubbish decisions, horrendous chances is missed against Liverpool. We've had dodgy decisions, no red cards given.
I was going to say, a nice known goal,
hitting the post twice in one game, 90th minute winners. Sissoko smashing it into the rose edge. Would 100% have to be Joel Matip's unbelievable finish in the 96th minute from Porro's cross to beat Liverpool for the first time in however many years. That 100% tops it. From having lots of Liverpool fans as mates as well, to finally break the duck to beating them, it has to be them. And in the controversy of that game, with that VAR decision that, let's be honest, was a complete robbery, and the 2 red cards they had, it couldn't have been in a more perfect way to finally beat them. So I would.
The tears was lovely. Quite lasted.
Joel Matip. So, well, you could say it wasn't even us that scored. So if we're going when we scored, we'll go with Pape Sarr's. But goal of the season, Matip.
Classy. Love it, Ben. Thank you. And Bonnie, I actually want to answer this. I'm trying to think about it. And I've broken it down into 2. My favourite goal is actually Kulusevski's equaliser for 3-3 at the Etihad, just because of the cross that was put in from Johnson one wing to another. Seeing Kulusevski's first goal scored with his head and the way it kind of hits the bar and goes in, that 2-second pause and then the fans' reaction. And for me, I didn't even realise it got in. So that moment, though I wasn't there, was great. But actually being there in terms of best moment, Liverpool 100%. Being there myself, that was, we knew how massive that was. We knew that Liverpool would come back real force. So for me, that was the best moment, because we've been pushing and pushing, and we'd know if we didn't win that game, we'd get told, Tottenham aren't great this year. They couldn't beat Liverpool with 9 men, blah, 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 blah. They had every decision in their way, and it was just the fact that the ball hit the back of net. That's 2 points gained, and Liverpool lose the point. That is definitely, and how late it was as well. I wasn't the Sheffield United one, but some people say Sheffield United. Again, Kulusevski, where again, that 2 seconds of silence before the ball hits the back of net, that's for me, one of the most beautiful things in football. And the last question I'm going to give to you, Travis. Go through some comments, actually. Hi, Harry, looking for someone to help with graphics or any thumbnails? If you have Twitter or any other socials, message me and I'll discuss later on in the show. I actually need to think about that, actually. Good question. I'm not very good at them, as Ben, I'm sure, can tell you. But I'll give the last question to Travis. Barney says, another question. What kind of way do you think Everton will set up against Spurs? Will they obviously defend, etc.? How will they approach the game?
They're going to go all out. Like have done most of their games, I think. They're just going to siege, and they're going to carry on siege.
I don't think they have a lot of possession, though, will they, Travis? Because obviously how much possession we have in games. Everton, under Sean Dyche, they're very, very defensive. They absorb the pressure. But it's just, do you think they... Okay, I'm going to word this question, actually, if you don't mind, Barney. Do you think they'll play with the long balls into Calvert-Lewin, kind of feed off him, runners like McNeil, etc., running off him? Or will it be the through balls that carve open our high line? Or set pieces, of course, Targarski, the height, Brathwaite.
Yeah, I think, we haven't got much height, obviously, in regards to defence at the moment. I think the tallest defender we've got at the moment is obviously Christian Romero. So, yeah, I think they are going to be pinging the balls in the box. But at the same time, I think we'll let them have it as well. I think that we'll let them have their position. But I think defence-wise, I think we're going to win the battle all day long, I think. Going back with what Ben said earlier about struggling in the midfield, I think, yes, that is going to be a bit of a worry. But their starting 11 is going to be attacking. They're going to want 3 points again. I can't see them not playing the way they've been playing recently, even though they're playing more of a higher in the league team, I think they're going to be ruthless, absolutely ruthless. I think they're so upset, obviously, with their 10-point deduction. I can't really see them changing much, to be fair, in regards to the way they've been playing football.
Okay, thank you very much. Lewis, answering your question, I just had a look and I can't find your account. So if you tag me in a tweet or something, or like one of my recent posts, I'll have a look and I'll find you and get back to you. But yes, it's frustrating that. And a reminder as well, as Barney brought out, trying to find it, Everton do play tomorrow, League Cup quarter final, which we should be in, but I'm not going over that again against Fulham. What happened there? But Everton do play, and I think they'll go fairly strong for it. It's an opportunity for Everton for a trophy. No disrespect, Barney, but Everton will feel that they can win that, and so will Fulham. You know, it's an evenly, perhaps evenly matched game. Everton in particular really in form. Or who wants to answer this question? What's your guys' thoughts on Højbjerg and then full sub? Anyone want to answer this?
Yes, very good in full sub. I think with Højbjerg, I think obviously where he hasn't obviously had many minutes, obviously he was a first choice midfielder for a long time, obviously before we got Bissouma, Bentancur, and obviously Sarr as well. But every time he comes on, I know he has a bit of a wobble, but he always plays well and gives 100%. I've never really had a problem with Højbjerg, to be fair. He's not really the sort of player I've got a problem with. There's only one player I've really got a problem with, but other than that, I don't really.
Yes, we know, Eric Dyer.
I don't. No, honestly,
you can't help. You can't help but he lives rent free in your head, Travis.
Yeah, but yeah, I've never had a problem with Højbjerg. I think he'll go in the January transfer window. And good luck to him. But yeah, I think he will be gone.
Okay, sorry, Travis, got another question while I think of it. What would be the minimum you'd sell him for?
Between 20 and 30 mil.
Oh, that's quite low. Oh, for maybe 35, 40. I would say 40 in the summer, but now I'm thinking 35 is realistic and that kind of money.
Sorry, I'll change that. I'll change that. Yeah, between 30 and 35. With add-ons. Let's leave it at that.
I think it's an important squad player, though, for me personally to have.
Yeah.
It's a case of does he want to stay being a squad player though as well? I think isn't it?
Yeah,
I think he wants to stick around.
He would feel unappreciated, like the club kind of, I don't know, by like fans, and he's given a lot and finds himself out of the team, and he not being funny, but he hasn't put a foot wrong. I know why he's out of the team. We've got a lot of quality, and the style of play perhaps doesn't suit him. But if you're at Højbjerg, right, you give it everything. You think maybe have a chance of a vice captain role or captain role under Postecoglou to find yourself on the bench.
I think that's the other thing, Harry. I think you've hit the nail on the head. He was also part of that leadership group last season, and apparently Ange scrapped him from the leadership group. So he's got on with it. You've got to give him respect. He's got on with it and put that behind him. But, you know, if you're one of the leaders and, you know, he was playing more than anyone else, more minutes than anyone else, and then suddenly you're on the bench and you're not part of the leadership group, your nose is going to be a little bit put out of joint, isn't it?
Yeah. Travis, would you have Dyer in your leadership group?
No comment.
Oh, dear. And Mark, I'll give the last question for you. Spurs, Southview Coys, big up. Sorry, I did make you wait quite a while, so apologies for that. Says, what happens when Maddison comes back? Can Kulusevski do it on the wing?
I guess he'll have to, won't he? Because you need to put Maddison straight back in, I think. And yeah, I would put Kulusevski back out there because you've got to fit Kulusevski in somewhere, haven't you? For me.
Well, yeah. Ideally you want him in. Okay, Lewis, after we finish, I'll look for it and see what you can offer. But that is it for this week's show. Big up everyone in the chat. Thank you very much. And thank you to the three fabulous guests. For the pleasure to share a screen with tonight. Firstly, regular on the show, Travis, where can people find you?
You can find me on Twitter at officialcaster. I am on Instagram as TC1_1. Obviously, a lot of stuff I put on Twitter is obviously about Tottenham and mental health related. So obviously, if you want to join in with that, then please do. Always important to talk about mental health, obviously, as Harry knows. I have got some really exciting news to share with you all before I kick off. I'm going to be a dad.
Hey, look at that.
So,
Congratulations.
Yeah, due August next year. So, yeah, another little Yido on the way. So,
congratulations, mate.
Oh, congratulations. Thank you for sharing that as well. There you go. One more nice way to end the show. Well done, Travis. Big up. Ben, thank you very much for coming on. As I always say to my guests, better late than never. Where can people find you?
No, thank you, Harry. Apology, I was late. But
don't be
thank you
silly.
for having me on as always. People can find me on YouTube and on Twitter with my name, Bateman Talks Tottenham, where I film videos with my dad, such as matchday vlogs when we go to all the home games. And we will be going to all the home games up until, well, March. We've got tickets all the way up until then. So there'll be matchday vlogs for all those games and match reactions and previews, etc. People can find that on YouTube and on Twitter. And thanks for having me on, Harry.
Always a pleasure. Go check out Ben's channel. When we both go, I do like mini prediction match day. Ben has his match day vlog, and I have a privilege to feature in that. So go check out Ben's channel. Ben, you may note as well, does most of my thumbnails. I'm not very good at thumbnails, so credit goes to Ben. Who's very, very good at this kind of stuff. And yeah, next game I'll see you, Ben, will be Bournemouth. I'm not going to Everton. Cool. I'll let my little brother go as a mini early Christmas present. Mark, thank you very much for coming on. First time on the show. I'm sure it certainly won't be your last as well. You're welcome back anytime. Where can people find you?
Yeah, just on X or Twitter, whatever they call it these days.
Always Twitter.
Yeah, I think Twitter, yeah. 1981 Spur, yeah. But I don't really tend to say a lot on there, if I'm being honest.
Yeah, fair enough.
There's a lot of prats on there, aren't there? So I can't be bothered to interact with them.
And I put this politely, yes. Thank you very much for watching. If you want to follow me, you can there, Harry Scarf 22. But most importantly, check out all these guys on all socials. If you're new to the channel, first time here, first time at the show, podcast, don't forget to turn the notifications bell on so you keep up to date with all my content. Smash the subscribe button because it's free to do so, and it does help the channel and the show grow. If you are listening on any other podcast platform, don't forget just drop a follow and a 5-star review. So thank you very much. And we're going to end the show, as always, with a little bit of Pasta Coffee Baby by Tim Winstone. I think it's the perfect way after win up the Spurs.
You were working as a manager at Celtic Park when we met you. We picked you out, you shook us up and turned us around. You turned us into something new. And Pasta Coglou, you know that we believe it when you say you're gonna change it. And Pasta Coglou, we're the mighty Tottenham and nobody's gonna stop them. Oh, he looks so fine in blue and lily white. And then he said to me, I'm from a land down under. Pasta Coglou, baby. Pasta Coglou, oh. Pasta Coglou, baby. Pasta Coglou, oh. Pasta Coglou, baby. Pasta Coglou, oh. Pasta Coglou, baby. Pasta Coglou, oh.